Buon pomeriggio! Welcome to Clelia's Cucina Italiana. Today we're going to do a nice recipe with eggplant, since now this time of year a lot of people get eggplants out of the garden and they're fresh. So I thought I would show you a new way other than eggplant parm and eggplant cutlets. This is a little different, but it's a little work, so we're gonna get started. What I've done, what I usually do, I try to find a couple of eggplants that are pretty much the same size, okay? And what I did with this, you split them in half, like so, okay? And then what we do, we're going to get a paring knife and we're going to hollow them like this. I don't know if you can see this. Just go around it and leave like, a quarter of an inch or a little bit, less. Like that. And then just to make it easy to get this out, I just kind of score them like this. You can see this? And then I just do this to make like little cubes. And make sure you don't go through, the shell. All right? And then you just pop them out like that. See? Pretty easy, right? Okay, and then you can just, fix them up a little bit. I mean, if there are too many seeds, you can just scrape them out at the time. Okay, so that's it. So what we have here is all the stuffing that I took out of the other eggplant that I have ready. Okay, and what I did to make sure that all the seeds, you know how you usually you put salt and then you put something heavy. This is a lot easier. You just put a lot of salt, like two tablespoons of salt and water, and you just put them right in. So they'll stay nice and white and all that bitterness goes away. But what we have to do now, we have to drain them, okay? Squeeze them out. So you just saw how I did that. So that's all there is to that. Okay, so now I'm gonna drain all this stuffing that we took out. Like so, and just kind of really squeeze it out. It's gonna be here. Squeeze it like so, and then maybe dry it a little bit with some paper towel or a clean dish towel. Okay, so that's that. So with this, if you want to fix it up, it's one side is a little bit thicker than the other. Just do the spoon like that, and this is pretty much okay. Okay, see? So what we do with this now, now you have to use some salt with this because eggplant is very flat. So if you don't put any salt, it's not gonna taste that great. So what we do, we put a little salt, like so. And then we brush some oil, even on the outside, so it stays nice and shiny and won't wrinkle up too much, okay? And some nice oil, enough oil, really all around and inside the cavity. See, make sure it's all really nice and oiled. All right? So at this point, you put them under the broiler, on the fifth rack, going from the top down. So you don't want to put it way up, otherwise it's just going to burn. Now, since all this stuffing here, all the stuff that you take out, it will completely shrink when you start cooking it. So I usually, for 2 eggplants, I usually buy 2 more and cut them up to add to the stuffing, all right? So I'm going to start, you gotta start getting the pan nice and hot. You want the oil to be nice and hot because you want them to start browning right away, okay? So we get the oil here. You put maybe 2-3 tablespoons of oil. You want enough oil because eggplant absorbs a lot of oil. It's like a sponge. Okay, so while the oil is getting hot, I'm going to cube it. I'm going to leave the skin on. Okay, the skin is very good for you. So I'm just going to leave it on, and plus it looks nice too when you cook it. You see a little bit of black in between. So the way you see, look how beautiful this is. So you could, if you find a couple that are that size, you could just all do the same thing. So at this point, I'm just gonna cube them. And just add them like that. I guess I can get a smaller knife, huh? So I don't kill myself. Okay, just cube them like that. They don't have to be, try to be, you know, pretty much the same size so they cook at the same time. Okay. And these we don't have to worry about, you know, putting salt. And they'll be fine. If you do them right away, you cut them right away. Sometimes if there aren't really a lot of seeds, it's okay. Plus we don't have time. So it's okay. We have to do allowances for certain things. Okay? And if there is a little thing here, just cut it off. We don't want that to be part of the stuffing. Okay. Here we go. So we can start putting some in. See, that's what I was waiting to hear. Nice sizzle. Now keep it on high. Okay, it looks like a lot, but it's gonna shrink. We'll give it a little stir here. Okay, so we just leave it on high, as high as you can go, and just keep stirring it every so often. Now I also want to tell you what goes with that. When that starts going down and gets a little bit golden cooked, then we add some tomatoes. These are fresh tomatoes. I took the skin out. You put them in the boiling water. You know that. You do like a little X underneath. You put it in boiling water for about 30 seconds, and then you take the skin off, and you can squeeze the seeds if you want to. Just cut them horizontally so the seeds come out easier. Okay, so tomatoes. We add some nice pignoli, some capers, garlic, of course, 2 large cloves, because they kind of disappear once, because like I said, you know, eggplant is pretty flat. So garlic, a little bit of oregano, and I prefer the dry because it's a little bit stronger. And then lots of basil, this beautiful basil, and the parsley. So we have an array of herbs, and that's what you want, okay? So, but that doesn't come until later. And then to that, we also add some olives and some fontina, just in the stuffing. I don't really like too much on top, because otherwise it just takes away from really seeing the eggplant, okay? So we just add a little bit, like, you know, I don't know, 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. And look how they shrunk. You believe it? Now we're gonna add about 2 cloves of garlic, okay? Minced, you know, small as you want. Garlic goes really good with this. And I just added a little oil in the middle, made like a little well, so the garlic can get started to cook in a few minutes, okay? To that, we're going to add some capers, about 2 tablespoons. And you rinse them in cold water, and you just squeeze them out, okay? I don't think I have to tell you that. All right, so the garlic is getting done. Okay, so we're gonna mix everything. We want that garlic to get nice and cooked. And now to that, these are about, depends on size, 4 or 5 tomatoes, okay? With the skinned off and squeezed. So we're gonna put them right in. Okay. Now we're gonna work that in. Oh, look how nice the colors already look now, see? And another thing I want to mention, don't Don't use a non-stick frying pan, even though this is going to be a disaster, but you're going to have to clean it. Because when you use a non-stick frying pan, it's harder to get things like golden, sauteed to a golden color. They just don't get there somehow. Okay? So I prefer not to. Okay, to that I'm going to add some nice oregano, maybe a tablespoon. I like the dry better than the fresh because it's a little bit more concentrated. So it's about a tablespoon. And then we can lower this a little bit now to medium. And then I like to use a lot of basil and parsley with this. It really goes nice. Now this is all been washed, so it's nice and clean. And you can just put, you know, well, I guess we can cut it a little bit. Oh, it's beautiful basil. I hate to tell you, this is not from my garden because I've been using it all along and I don't have that much to go around. Every night I find something that I can put basil in because I love it. So I've been using a lot of mine, parsley, everything. So I had to buy it, it killed me. And we just kind of we can just chop it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Coarsely chopped. Because this also will wilt, pretty much. I mean, if you make it too small, you won't be able to see it. Oh, it smells so great, I can't tell you. That's good enough. I'll put that in. Beautiful. Oh, look at those vibrant colors. How nice. And be very, and then we're gonna also add some nice Kalamata olives. And you can add a half a cup or a third of a cup, you know. And you can chop, I like to leave them whole because I like to see them. As many, you know, as much as you want. That looks beautiful. And now we have the pignoli, pine nuts. And you can put a couple of tablespoons of those. See, all these nice ingredients are gonna add to the delicious flavors here. I told you it was gonna be a little work, but it will be well worth it. Okay, I'm gonna turn the oven on because they have to go to in the oven. I'm gonna put it about 400. And they're only gonna bake for about 15 minutes. Probably saying, what is she doing? Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try a little bit, make sure there is enough salt. Also gonna put a little pepper, as much as you want. I'm putting as much as I want. Okay. Okay, well that's cooking a little bit more. If it looks a little bit soupy, I like to put a little bit, maybe a tablespoon or two of breadcrumbs, flavored breadcrumbs. I think I'll put it in. Okay. Just to let it dry up a little bit. Okay, we're going to stop for a little bit. I clean this up and let them cool off a little bit before I fill them. So just enough that I can handle them. We'll be right back. And we are back. And just to save time, I started filling them. But I wanted to tell you that I added some fontina cheese and I just mixed it right in. I'm going to add a little bit more now just to show you. And I usually like to add it after I shut it off so it doesn't get too mushy. See? And this is still hot here, but I can handle it. Okay, so those are filled, and this I'm just gonna show you. You just fill it like that. See? Nice and stuffed. There we are. And also, I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit of breadcrumb to give it just a little golden on top. Like you get a tablespoon or two, okay? Like that. And we're done. And here they go in the oven at 400 for about 15-20 minutes until they look like they have a nice little crust on top. Okay, that's fine. Or if you prefer, you can also put it under the broiler. We'll be right back. And here we are. Look at this delicious dinner ready for you. You have some nice eggplant and some nice hot bread. What else do you need? Please try that. You're gonna like it. Until next time, this is Clelia. Buon appetito e arrivederci alla prossima volta. Now try this delicious recipe. It's a little work, but it's worth it. Ciao.